Anyway, talking things extremely British, today marked 80 years since one of the most famous events in the Second World War, the Great Escape.
Allies, being kept in a prisoner of war camp in Germany, devised an elaborate plan, I'm sure you know it, to dig tunnels beneath the prison to try and break free.
Well, our reporter Will Hollis has been meeting some of the people marking the anniversary in Britain and overseas.
During the Second World War, hundreds of thousands on both sides were taken captive as prisoners of war. British prisoners and their allies believed breaking out was their duty. The German camp Stalag Luft III was designed to make that impossible. The story of an attempt 80 years ago today stands out against all others: the Great Escape. At Eden Camp in Malton, North Yorkshire, the Modern History Museum is showing visitors how they did it. The Allies worked in tight, cramped conditions, digging 3 tunnels beneath the prison. You can only imagine what conditions were like, deep underground, working in the dark, with discovery only a simple mistake away. A team working alongside the museum recreated the escape tunnel and the tools made to dig it. Summer O'Brien is the collections manager at the museum.
The prisoners were very creative with what they did, so they made things such as this. So this is a spade, and they would have used their everyday items and their rations that they received to create items such as this. Same as the tunnel, they used their bed slats. 76
prisoners got out before discovery. Only 3 avoided recapture. On Hitler's orders, 50 escapees were killed, a war crime. At the International Bomber Command Centre in Lincoln, the names of 28 of them are remembered on its memorial wall, including Canadian Gordon Kidder and Briton Thomas Kirby Green.
There they were, escaped together, recaptured, murdered together, and remembered together.
Bob Ankerson is president of the RAF's ex-POW Association and a volunteer at the centre. Captured during the First Gulf War, he later met men from the Great Escape.
For those who escaped multiple times, they would be in solitary confinement for a significant length of time. But it didn't dull their determination to continue with their fight.
A memorial is held at the tunnel site on the anniversary of the escape in Żargon, what is now Poland, every year. Marek Lazars is director of a museum at the site.
As a historians, it is our duty to remember every anniversary of the Great Escape.
The escape is celebrated in the classic 1963 film, with added drama for the cinema sometimes criticised. The true story, unchanged each year, is great enough. Will Hollis, GB News.
Oh, a wonderful, wonderful story, a true story. I mean, some of the characters were slightly changed in the movie to make room for Steve McQueen, who was an absolute hero of the movie.
Yeah, well, yes.
I mean, wasn't he? But nevertheless, most of the characters were absolutely true, and what happened to them also true. Absolutely. It's an amazing movie as well, because it's become a Christmas movie.
Yeah, well, these ones often do. It's a bit like that Bruce Willis one, Die Hard.
Die Hard, yeah.
Die Hard's a Christmas movie.
Got very little to do with Christmas at all.
No.
And, of course, the real story of what happened for the Great Escapees was hardly happy.
No.
But it's something that means a lot to us, I think.
Yeah. Well, let's talk to CEO of International Bomber Command Centre, Nicky van der Drift. Good to see you this morning. How important is it that we remember this incredible story all these years on?
Good morning. Well, it was the most audacious prison escape in history. And as Will mentioned in his piece, you know, they really felt it was their duty to do this at great risk. And it's important that we remember every sacrifice and service that was made during that time.
Yeah, as you said, that comes across very much so in the movie, doesn't it? That they all saw it as their duty to not just sit back and be prisoners of war, but to disrupt the enemy as much as they possibly could by continuously trying to escape.
Absolutely. It pulled resources away from front line. It obviously frustrated the Germans regionally, but also nationally. And it was really important that they did what they could to get back.
Nevertheless, when they were chased down, I mean, after that remarkable escape, when they were chased down, they shouldn't have been shot. That was a war crime. But they were, apparently on Hitler's personal orders.
Absolutely. He was furious about this escape, bearing in mind that Stalag Luft 3 was built specially to house those that had been regular escapees from other camps. And I think he took it as a great affront to their security. And he gave the Gestapo orders to make an example of the 50.
But in a sense, it just seems to be... I mean, I know it's glamorised by the movie, in a sense, which is what most of us reflect on, but it does seem this incredible bit of Britishness, of spirit that we don't seem to have anymore.
Well, I can't comment on whether we have it because they're not tested in the same way as they were there. There was a collective move to support and protect our freedom. And we don't know until we're tested in a similar way whether this generation, would stand up in the same way. If you ask many of the bomber veterans, they believe they would.
Wow.
And they were so resourceful. I mean, the things we just saw very briefly in that clip there, the things they were able to make and build in order to dig those tunnels, and they made them out of things that, you just can't imagine how they did it, but they did. And they created their disguises and passports in the most remarkable way.
Absolutely. We worked very closely with Air Commodore Charles Clark, who was the president of the association that Robert now heads. And his memory of it was that he climbed into bed one day and fell through because all the struts from his bed had been removed. And literally, it was everything had a secondary purpose.
Yeah. Just while we've got you, I just wanted your views on, as your International Bomber Command Centre, on the Lancaster Bomber Memorial that's meant to rival the Angel of the North on the Lincolnshire-Nottinghamshire border that they're trying to raise more money for at the moment. It looks like it's going to be an incredible structure when they get it up next year. How important will it be?
It's fantastic. Lincolnshire is Bomber County, and it is a gateway into what we do so brilliantly. That the heritage of Bomber Command and a lot of the RAF is based in that county. So what a welcome. And it will work in exactly the same way as the Angel of the North. You're in the northeast now, and this will be welcome to Lincolnshire. It's really important.
Yeah, it is.
Fantastic. Nicky van der Drift, really good to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you.